It's November 2nd, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have frozen mysteries, voices from beyond, and a prophet who broke his silence. Let's begin. On November 2nd, 1942, a group of British soldiers were marching high in the icy mountains of northern India when they stumbled upon something that made them stop dead in their tracks. Before them was a frozen lake, silent, untouched, and filled with bones. Hundreds of skeletons, half buried in the snow, circling the water like some forgotten ritual. Some clutched rusty jewelry, others wore fragments of ancient clothing, all eerily preserved in the cold. At first, they thought they had discovered a mass grave, but scientists later found something even more disturbing. The bones didn't belong to one group. They came from people separated by centuries, and every skull showed the same mark. A perfectly round fracture, as if each person had been struck from above, not by a weapon, but by the sky itself. Researchers would later conclude that they died in a hailstorm, pelted by ice the size of cannonballs, but locals still whispered a different story. They say the mountain goddess was angered by trespassers and rained death upon them from above. It's strange. Centuries pass, science gives us an answer, yet a lake full of skeletons still feels like it's keeping a secret. Maybe some places just remember more than others. On November 2nd, 1977, in the quiet suburban home in Enfield, England, something impossible happened. Police officers were called to a small council house after reports of a strange noise and objects moving on their own. At first they expected a prank, maybe children seeking attention. But when they stepped inside, the air felt heavy. The walls thudded with unseen knocks, and a chair slid across the floor, slowly, deliberately, without anyone touching it. An officer, terrified but trained to observe, wrote in his official report that he saw the furniture move by itself. It remains one of the few times law enforcement ever documented a haunting. Over the next few days, things only grew darker. Toys hurtled across the room, doors slamming, and then came the voice. A gravelly, guttural growl began speaking through an 11-year-old girl named Janet. Deep, inhuman, yet aware, she spoke of death, of being trapped, of a man who had once died in that very house. Even decades later, tapes still exist, recordings of the voice, low and mocking. Experts analyzed them for years, unable to explain how a child could produce such a sound. The house in Enfield still stands today. They say it's quiet now. Skeptics always have explanations. Pipes, draft, ventriloquism. But pipes don't talk back, and drafts don't growl your name at 3 a.m. On November 2nd, 1969, in the city of Mehrabad, India, a man who had not spoken for 44 years finally broke his silence. His name was Mir Baba, a spiritual teacher who in 1925 took a vow to never speak again. For decades, he communicated only through gestures and an alphabet board, surrounded by devoted followers who believed he could speak directly to their minds. They say his silence wasn't absence, it was power, that through it he was able to listen to something beyond human sound. But in his final days, something changed. Witnesses claimed his health declined, yet his presence grew heavier. The air itself seemed to vibrate around him. Then on November 2nd, his followers gathered near, and Mir Baba's lips moved. He whispered a single word, a soft, almost carried by the air, yes. Those nearby said it was not just a word, but an answer. To what question? No one knows. Weeks later, he was gone. His followers insist the word confirmed the prophecy that he had long since spoken without speaking, that silence was never the end, but the beginning of something humanity wasn't yet ready to understand. It's unsettling, isn't it? 44 years of silence, then a whispered yes. Imagine holding your voice for decades only to let it slip when you're halfway between this world and the next. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.